Hello, my name is Cranberry Landers, and this is my second uh, second story review for Lost Pages 3 by Zaid Comics, and and I already did the review for the story for Lost Pages uh, Tome 1, which included Lost Pages 1, Myths of Lost Pages, and Lost Pages 2. For the art, I did those, and I did a review of the story for those in two separate videos, which came before this. So if you want to check those out, you can. Um, and I one one thing I'll get out of the way at the outset of the video is that I actually didn't want to read the book. I didn't want to read the book, um, not in a bad way necessarily, but I actually enjoyed the the first, second, and Myths of the Lost Pages so much that I didn't want to read the third one because I didn't want it to be over with so fast. So that's one thing. I was actually kind of dreading it because then it would be over, and I just have to wait for the next volume to come out, which I don't know how long that's going to be. So maybe a year, 2 years, I don't know. But um, I will say it's a good read. I enjoyed it. Um, uh, the I'll go ahead and give the credits for the book first. Well, secondly, this is created by Philip and Brandon Diaz, the Diaz brothers. Story and letters by Phil Diaz. Art by Ricardo Jaime for the Crimstone's back work. Dan Dahl by for the prologue and Hobo epilogue. Oliver Isabedra, Matt Black epilogue. Then colors for Eugenio Betivu. I hope I got your name right. Again, copy editor Steve Dye, story editor Lee Byron Carver. Cover by Dan Dahl, Shelby Robertson, and variant cover by Simon Bisley and Adam Brown. So good job, you guys, on the book. Great job. It was awesome. Couldn't put it down unless I was forced to, but it's really good. So I am going to be giving some major-ish spoilers later. I'll tell you later when I get to it. I'll tell you later when I get to it that I'm going to be getting into some spoiler areas. But I just wanted to let you know some of my big thoughts. It's a good story, good through line for the book, and it also built up the rules for the universe, and it built up various characters and showed how their powers were developing and how the characters are developing through the story of Crimstone and through the story of Matt Black and Silhouette, who you see on the cover there. But it you can see development of other characters and rules within the world that the Diaz brothers created. And so I thought that was really great. I thought it was good. And it's kind of a more natural way, I guess, to introduce that or to progress. It's something that I saw that there are different ways to progress characters and your universe. Sometimes it's more not deliberate. Sometimes it's more obvious, and sometimes it's more naturally introduced like this. Yeah, but I think it works really well for the book. And let's see, there's good morals throughout. I thought that was a major part of the book, and I just thought that was really good. I would also I wanted to say that I would actually recommend this book for like teens, like um, middle teens, early teens, older teens. I would just recommend this to them because it's not only good action pack, it's fun time. Like it's good. It's a good use of your time. There are worse books out there with worse messaging and worse content and everything than this one. And I would really recommend this one for kids and everything. If you want them to have like positive, like a positive word for them to hear, and a good book to read. I don't have any problems with it at all. Perfect. And it's not like it's not real kiddie. It's not real adult. It's right there, and I think it would entertain the whole family. You know. I will. So something I noticed again about the story is that there is less narrative, less outright narration in the books than in book one and Myths of the Lost Pages. By book two of the Lost Pages, the narration was dying down, or the outright narration was dying down. And so for that, there was kind of, I actually preferred more narration, but I'm not sure if it's something that Phil is moving towards with the lesson narration, if that's intentional, it being really obvious that it's a book, or not that it wasn't made apparent in this, or if it's if it's intentional, or if it's dependent upon the characters, because there are certain not tropes, but there are certain approaches for the different characters, the different areas. It's approached differently. Like there's more narrative, and somewhere it's more you just jump right in on the action and you pick up and go and you're along for the ride. So I don't know, kind of more classically Marvel-ish, I guess, but that you're actually in the world instead of hearing about the world through someone else, and but still seeing it as if you are in the world. So like the other Lost Pages, it's like you're reading what's actually happening, but there would be signs, there would be symbols, that there would be indications that this is actually being told to someone, as opposed to actually happening as it's happening. Or but they did show that it is a story, and it is shown that it is a story within the book. So within Lost Pages 3, it shows that this is actually happening within a book, and but that it is real. So again, I'm not sure if it's dependent on character, or if it's the progression or the general direction of the Lost Pages, as Phil wants to take it. So I'm not sure. I'm personally a fan more narrative based stuff. I like that, but I still think it's a good book. And it does tie together neatly at the end, and it does show that it is still the Lost Pages. So with that's kind of the end of my it's kind of the end of the generic review. I would recommend people pick up the book, but now I'm gonna get into some of my more detailed. There might be major spoilers in here. I'm gonna try to avoid major spoilers, maybe one or two, but I'm gonna really try to avoid it and leave for you something to discover when you're actually reading the book, because I think it's worth the price. By the way, the art, I just want to say at the beginning, or I want to say again, the art goes without saying, it's great, fantastic. really good, and it really works with the story and the settings. Okay, so uh, how I mentioned through the progression of Crimstone, everything you can see that in the story, and how that applies or entwines with the progression of or development of other characters, and kind of gives more rules or more indication of how other characters work within the universe, like the logistics, like Spider-Man having web shooters and it being a compressed liquid which turns fibrous after it comes out of the little spout in his web shooters, and it can just splits it into things. Anyways, into threads. Yeah. So like that kind of detail, you know how that works, or tensile strength versus impact. You know, it's just it kind of goes into that, or when Star-Lord would have his powers or something, or what the extent of those extent of those are, like that. Just kind of giving more specifics. The story really clarifies Crimstone's powers. It shows how they're developing in the story. And again, major spoilers. It either clarifies or it shows how they're developing more. I know it's definitely showing how they develop more. You find that out in the book. But maybe I shouldn't have said. Well, I won't say what they are. I won't say what they are, but it's cool. I feel like I'm. This is maybe. I think I'm treading thin ice right here. I think that I'm not on solid ground giving this. But that's really cool. The story. There's the book is packed with a ton of realism, not necessarily in people having, you know, like superpowers and all that, but actual fights that people go through internally as well as externally, and events that are happening in the real world right now, and it kind of gives hope. It kind of gives hope in the reading of the book. It kind of gives ways and methods to progress through those, and I appreciated that. And it was kind of jarring seeing it in the book, but it was still good. It shows it's, you know, a touching point. It's a touchstone for when you're reading it, that there are actual things going on in reality, and it just kind of brings, again, the Lost Pages world and our world together in that way. You know, the fact that it's seen or being discussed in this book and these books is actually kind of hopeful for me. I kind of got a feeling of hope while reading it, just that it's known about, and it kind of inspires you to go, hey, there's actually good in the world, and you can actually try to do something. You know, these kinds of things. You can be a hero, and you can try to help the world out in any way you can in this world. So I just thought that was great. Talks about dealing with personal demons and how to conquer them, and that's an uplifting message. I was reading it and I was like, oh, you know, something can have really broad, you know, like earlier 60 things prior to like 2010s and like comic writing or whatever. Well, I guess even later, but they would tell you, you know, it would use allegory and symbolism for how you address certain problems in your life. And I just thought that it was kind of giving like a positive message and ways to address those and how to think about things. And I just thought that was great. I think it would be really potent or effective, or I think it'd be a really great help for younger people, a younger audience, like the kind of audience I think this is geared towards or perfect for. Well, not that you can't be older than this, but just like teens and everything, early 20s. I think that it's really good, and that it would come in really useful for them. I think it would be a good help. And these days, you don't get much of a positive message out there with popular media, and even parenting. You don't see some of these lessons being passed down or told to children. And I think this is a good just reinforcement of solid life advice in a way that's still entertaining. You know, you're seeing violence, people bleed, and explosions and stuff, and action and fighting and superpowers, and those are all cool. Plus, you actually get something in the real world that's actually usable for you as a person in this world, in reality. So I just think that's wonderful. Um, it also shows how to stand up for the innocent, and that there are lines you don't cross, that there's hope for redemption. It also showed how the world will try to bring up previous weaknesses. That was a big aspect of, well, this is Crimstone. If you don't know, Crimstone deals with like internal struggles and internal problems, memories, and past scars, and it shows how the world might try, how people in the world and the world might try to bring up previous weaknesses or failures that you have, and that you can actually turn those into a strength. That was something in the book, and again, this is a positive message, and it's something that you can apply to your own life. And just acknowledging that you had those weaknesses, that you went through those things, and just know, yeah, I came through that. That's not who I am. That's something I went through, and that I can continue progressing. And the fact that people will try to use that to weaken you and try to discourage you, but you don't have to. You don't have to listen to them. And something that people tell you about yourself isn't you. That's something people say, but it's not you. And I just thought that was awesome. Don't let others tell you who you are. Don't let others tell you who you are. And I thought that was great. And it seems to me that weak people try to bring up the weakness in you and weakness in others. Like, I try to discourage you because I'm afraid of you, because you're a threat, because you might do better than me, and because that maybe reflects poorly on me, because I've given into those weaknesses, or I don't think of myself as well, or I don't strive for that thing, I don't go for that thing. And that was just something that was apparent there. You know, there's a choice, there's a clear distinction in this book that's made, that you can choose one of two routes. You can go towards self-loathing. You can go to letting your base impulses take over, and you do turn into a wasteoid. You do turn into like a monster. I just thought that was great. It's good juxtaposition. There's something else: knowing, confessing, acknowledging your faults is strength, and use that knowledge to progress or grow. That was another concept. There was another point in the book, that you have weaknesses, you have faults, you have low points, and acknowledging them, confessing them, and being aware that you have those, you can use those as a strength. And Phil actually drew that into the story and used that, and showed how you can progress through there, and created story progression, character progression, development in the book through those. So that's great. I think that's good story. Yeah, I would actually, as it is now, I'd probably suggest other people buy this book. I might even buy an additional copy. I want to buy an additional copy for somebody else. I know, maybe a kid or something. I don't know any kids, but if there are any kids or something that are younger, like, give it to them for something hopeful or something that might help them out in life. I don't know, but give them something, something better than the garbage that's out there now. There are some great entrances of some in powerful ways that you don't expect. Like there's so that was something else. There were characters that I didn't expect to see, or didn't expect to see them show up in certain moments, and they did, and that was like a really powerful, knock you over the top of the head, kind of introductions to some of these characters, and I thought that was great. Coming out of left field, not for the writer, not for Phil, but coming out of left field for me, not what I expected, and it was great. It was a surprise, good surprise, and something else was that it points out that we have our better. Something else in the book is that it showed that we have our better angels / a conscience, which shows the good that we know we should be doing, and that even if other people aren't seeing what we're doing, we still have that conscience. We still know what we've done, and we have a witness. Internally, we have a witness that shows us, like, if we're doing something bad, if we're on the wrong track, and even if other people don't, we still have that with us. And so it's still a choice you can make. It's still a choice as to whether you go down that way or don't. And in that, there was also showing that, sometimes the bad guy does get what's coming to him. Sometimes you, or a person in the world, you might think has everything, but sometimes it actually comes around to them and they get what's coming to them. A lot of people don't, and thankfully it doesn't for a lot of people. Kind of. I want, but like if everything that was coming to me came to me, I would be in a really bad way. So I'm kind of grateful a little bit, but just be mindful of what you're doing, and know what you should do, and do the right thing. And it shows that in the story. Just a lot of moral lessons, but valuable life lessons that are incorporated that are heavy in this book. And there's also some morally complex characters introduced, and some good choices made. That there's some complex characters, people kind of like the Punisher. I don't know how. Kind of like you might think like the Punisher or Spawn or something. that you can do bad things, but there are characters who will do good as well. I just thought that was pretty cool. I liked that, especially in the book. It's not all black and white in the story, and that's real. That you have people with bad qualities and good qualities. I was surprised by how good this book was. I was surprised by how good it was. Not like how good of a story it was, but how just overall good for the world, just a good story, everything together, how good it was. And it was very good. But there was also showcasing Jazz's progression, and that accepting parts of yourself, aspects of yourself, can be a strength. There are some people who, maybe someone's really good at knitting, and they're a dude. Like in Demolition Man, how he had an aptitude towards knitting, and it unlocked it, and he's just like a really fantastic knitter, and he just knits, even though he would never give any spotlight or any kind of time to that aspect of himself. but he actually excels in it. Stuff like that, or like being a really good teacher and embracing that, or an artist, or you're good at construction or something. And accepting it is a part of your superpower. Accepting your whole self, whole aspects of yourself, and being more unified. And it showcased that in the book, and that is something that can give you, like a kind of superpower. Um, you're not you're not necessarily two-dimensional. You're not two-dimensional. You don't only have these things, which aspects of yourself which you like, and nothing more, and it can't be more. But there are other components to yourself that could make you like the perfect tool to fit into this slot. This perfect situation. You could really talk to a homeless dude really well, or you're really good with like creating flow charts or something, like a charts, spreadsheets or something, and that can be useful for other people in other situations, even though you really don't want to. Maybe you just like fighting or punching things, like you're a boxer or something. Just aspects, parts of yourself that you can accept and use for the benefit of yourself and others, for internal progress and helping the world out. Something else that I noticed, which was great, was that it blends a story into another story, which was done in previous Lost Pages, previous editions, Lost Pages 1 and 2, and Miss the Lost Pages, how it kind of unites them, kind of flows into it. And that was something that was done in the book. And uh, it was kind of a surprise when it happened. So something else that occurs in the book is that a word said to one person, or hearing the story of someone else, can help you out personally in your life, or something that you have experienced in your life can help out another person through what they're going through, or something that they might encounter in their lives. And that was something that you see in the book, and that a good lesson for you, a good lesson for one person, can also be good for another person to hear. And sometimes it's good just to share those and let people know. And it does give progress to one of the main characters in the book, and it also gives and it also progresses another character in the book of Lost Pages 3. And yeah, I think that's great. It's near the I think it's great. It's near the end of the book, but it shows it's kind of an object lesson, or directly showing you that can apply to your life as well. And it was kind of a surprise too when if the story flowed into another one. I was like, well, I'm in this world right here, I'm focused, and then suddenly it just pops me out and lets me look at it from a third person point of view, where I was looking at a second person or whatever. Like I'm in there, I'm in the story, and then it pops me out for another view, and I can see it from the sky or something. I can see it from bird's eye point of view, and it showcases that there's more to the world. I just love that. That's good, and a surprise, and I appreciated it. And then one of the last points is they really smoothly introduced characters, other characters, other heroes in the book, and it was a surprise to me, and it got me really looking forward to the next book. And with how well the characters were looked and were progressed, and how well the story did in Lost Pages 3, it got me really excited for the second, or for the next volume, or the next volumes of Lost Pages. Just looking forward to how they're going to be tackled, and what's going to happen with them. Because if it was as good as these, if it was good as what was done as they were written and developed, and how they were portrayed in Lost Pages 3, I think the following volume or volumes will just be awesome. I think it'll rock. Also, again, major spoilers. It's the first time I saw clearly seeing the Lost Pages cover for the book, the actual book within the story of Lost Pages. That was a cool moment. I enjoyed the book. I look forward to future editions, not editions, future subsequent volumes, and additions to the story. I would recommend it. I would recommend it to people who are interested in a good time and something that won't be a waste. It'll be good entertainment, and it won't be a waste of your time. It'll actually add something to your life, probably, if you actually pick it up. Something you can actually use. I thought it was great. I would love to put like every photo here of every page, because it's just so amazing. There are so many spreads and just so many panels and everything that were just fantastic. Great images. I want to share them with you guys. I want to share it. The only way you're gonna get those, though, because I'm not gonna I'm not gonna participate in piracy, is you'll have to buy the book. You have to buy the book and see for yourself, or have someone else buy it for you, and give it to you as a gift, and maybe the other previous volumes. But I think it's fantastic. I love those. There are so many images here that are just going to be burned into my brain going forward, and I love that. That's the kind of stuff I enjoy about comics. I remember panels that I've read and covers that I've seen from comics from like 30 years ago. They're just stuck in there, burned into my brain, my mind's eye. I can see them clearly. And so I love that. And there are quite a few of those. Really exciting. Really kind of a feast for the eyes. It's a feast for the eyes, what you see in this book. And it's knowledge and instruction which you can use to benefit you in the real world, in your life. I don't know if this is the intent of Phil or Brandon's intent, but it is something that there is in the book and in the books, and I'm really looking forward to the next ones. With that, thank you for watching my review of the story for Lost Pages Book 3. I hope you stuck with me. I hope you enjoyed my review. It was entertaining. I know I'm not the book, but hopefully this is something. And I'm not the book. I'm not the books that they've come out with, but I hope this was a little bit entertaining for you. Thank you for staying with me. This is the end of the video. Have a good day. You can like, subscribe, comment if you have any comments. And I also will be putting the link for where to purchase the book, and where you can check out other content by Zaid Comics in the description. And you can also check out my other channel that I do with a couple other guys, Nerdified, Nerdifyed. You can check that out. We do reviews of other comics and stuff there. And you can check that out, I think, in the channel description. Anyways, thanks again, and I'm going to say goodbye.